loading up the hearse, throw it in reverse. I come from the church of the Marvel Universe. Bodies getting stuffed in the bags.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Cryptcast. I'm Mike.
What up, Crypt Crawlers? I'm Brian.
We are coming to you from inside the Comic Krypton in Town, New Jersey. And we're here to give you that little bit of New Comic Book Day. I'm just going to keep going like real low energy because I know it bothers Brian because he mentioned it last time.
I'm here to give him a lot of it. I'm here to give him all the Wednesday.
Oh, good.
Open and close, baby.
So, before we start, we do have an email. We got another email from Matt.
Mr. Fisher.
Mm-hmm. And he says, "Hi, Brian and Mike. Many heroes and villains have had their origins told, retold, and revised over the years, from Batman Year One to Books of Doom. However, some heroes and villains haven't gotten an in-depth origin or had their backstory updated with new ideas. My question is, what heroes or villains do you think deserve to have their origins explored in more detail and or revised with new insight into their backstories?" I think it's a decent question. I think there's a lot of room for that kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, especially because, like, things over time get convoluted.
Yeah, I mean, things just with the pile-on of story kind of, like, lose meaning, the passing of time, they're not, like, up to date as far as, like, culturally or whatever, technologically, any of that shit, you know what I mean? Like, stuff does need to get updated over time.
I have multiple answers for this.
Okay.
And in, like, crazy different segments, and it's not necessarily origins, but it's, like, almost like fleshing out of timelines and stuff. Like, Super Family. Who came here when?
Oh, because there's too many goddamn Kryptonians?
Right.
With the timeline. Well,
right, and it's always like when you read Superman stories, he's the last son of Krypton, and there's no one left except for his cousin and his dog and her cat, and, and it's just like, when did you all get here? Like I know we're getting, the Krypto series is coming out now.
Yeah.
So maybe, like, in this, we know, like, they shoot him first, so... Like, dear God, the poor dog's been here waiting on, and then when the kid gets here, it's a kid. So, like, how long did Krypto have to wait? Like, where's the
Yeah, I'm thinking he ends up back on Krypton somehow, and that's how they find out about Earth.
I mean,
and that's where they know how to. We're getting Krypto, the last dog Krypton was a good book, by the way.
Yeah, and that was the number one from last week.
Yeah.
But
we'll talk about it a little more. But
in regards to the question, the timeline of when the Super Family showed up, how long was because Kara was shot in space at the same time, but she didn't get to Earth. Like, she stayed in stasis, which is why she's a younger girl than Clark is a man.
Right.
So it's like, all right, well, like, give me like a timeline. Give me like a timeline.
Sure, I think that's fair.
And on the Marvel side of things, something that I have always wanted is the demons. Like, we have Limbo, and we have Mephisto has a hell dimension, and Hela has a hell dimension. Well, Mephisto has a hell dimension.
They've gone over that.
They've gone over it somewhat that I know of, and maybe you got more information than I do with Doctor Strange and Dormammu shit. But I know, like,
Dormammu doesn't even have anything to do with that.
No,
he's an extra dimensional thing. He's doing his own stuff.
See, that's what I want. I want a map.
Okay.
Like, who's got what and where is it and are they connected? Because, I remember at one point reading Journey into Mystery where, like, Kid Loki is brokering deals between Mephisto and Hela because Hela doesn't have a hell and she has to sublet part of Mephisto's hell. And it's like, what? But
that's what it is.
What's what it is?
That's so Limbo is his own thing.
Right, which is crazy. But that bothers the shit out of me because there's demons there. And it looks like a hell dimension. There's fire and demons in Limbo.
100%
so how,
like hell.
And for me, Limbo, in my head, it means like purgatory. There should be nothingness.
Sure.
But clearly it's a hell dimension.
Yeah, very much.
Right. Velasco, right? That's his shit. He's a demon. Yeah.
Where, as far as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, please, but as I remember it, that think of hell like a big warehouse, and everyone has a little piece.
But that's fine.
Where, like, Pluto has a piece of that hell, and that's Pluto's hell, and then Hela has a piece of that hell, and that's Hela's, and this is Mephisto's, and blah, 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 blah.
That's fine. Give me a 5-issue mini focusing on each neighborhood and draw it like a map. Make it a neighborhood.
But, like, I don't know if that, like,
do a Warriors miniseries like the movie.
Yeah.
Do a meeting in hell somewhere between lesser demons, and they have to make their way through all the neighborhoods of hell.
But, like, so from what I understand, it's like they're all existing in a single space, but I don't know if you could just like walk from one into the other. I don't know if there's like a border, a hell border. They might be like walled off from each other completely to do their own thing. I just know they exist in the same space.
But that's the information I want. Like, are they bordered by a wall? Are there factions of demons clawing at either side of that wall? Like, do the walls ever break and do the dams run into each other and there's armies of fighting hell demons and shit? Like, that's
okay.
Unexplored territory. Like, I know, like, Doom's mom's in hell, right?
Yep.
Who has her?
Mephisto? Probably Mephisto, just because it makes the most sense narratively.
But they always, every time I've heard a Doom thing, it's like, oh, yeah, she's in hell. All right, cool. Which one? Who's got her?
Yeah, but it becomes a generalized thing because you can't get into details. We've seen heaven how many times in the Marvel Universe? We know it exists.
Yeah, now we know it exists. It has not existed in so many years. I think, Nightcrawler?
I think was the first time, yeah. When he died and he came back, yeah. Yeah. You get back to the question and a little more like take it as it is kind of thing without, I'm not saying give a wrong answer, you just kind of did your own thing with it.
No. Say that's listen, DC, I want a super family timeline of when people showed up. Marvel, I would like a definitive answer on hell dimensions and who they are and how they rank. Whose is worse?
Depends who's
you did a little time in Hellas, but you don't want to be in Mephisto's. Fuck that.
Hellas is probably pretty chill.
Right?
It's like Dead Warriors.
Right? Like, is it like a Valhalla? Are they partying?
No, it's much more depressing.
But still, any kind of differentiation or descriptive, in-depth descriptive would help me out with, like, why are they different? Why isn't there just one? I
think because there are different stuff. You need to have a different hell for Hela. And Mephisto is basically the devil, right? He's Satan. So his is the most like the Christian like version of hell.
Old Marvel like information, I want to say like maybe the information I have is from like the back of old Marvel series trading cards. They didn't know what Mephisto was.
Sure.
They don't know if he's like a really high grade sorcerer. Or if he is a devil himself, or if he's some lesser demon.
I think they've leaned in more into modern times that he's basically the devil.
Well, I mean, he has the classic aesthetic, basically.
Right, I think that was just like a satanic panic era. We can't actually say it. We can't. He's not Satan, like, but, might as well be, right?
But for me, those are my answers. I would like more definition and on those subjects specifically.
The first thing that pops to mind for me, I think, is the Wrecking Crew. I always had a soft spot for the Wrecking Crew. I think they're fun. I think they need the updated, kind of revised origin, honestly.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
The Hood comes to mind. But, like, the Hood comes to mind because...
It's uninteresting?
No, he was very interesting. At first he had a...
No, his origin. His origin's uninteresting.
I don't mind his origin. I mind that it's changed so many times, and he's seemingly a guy who's got nowhere left to go. Like, something needs to happen. Like, so for the Hood, first he had the cloak, the hood, that was possessed by Dormammu.
Was it Dormammu?
It was Dormammu.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was Dormammu. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It
was either Dormammu or Mephisto.
I don't know.
I want to say it was Dormammu.
I just thought it was a demon cloak.
It was, but it was one of those two specifically.
Okay.
And then... he had what the hell did he have? He had he got Norse rune stones from Loki.
Okay.
Right? He was just walking around with a set of balls. Those two round orbs. And then he had something else. I don't know if it was like Cosmic QB or Infinity Gem or something.
I don't know.
But his gimmick has changed so many times because he's just a dude that like he needs to make a pact. He needs to make a pact and become something more serious. You
got me, man. I think the last time he showed up was in a Thunderbolts run, like when Titania and Absorbium were the Thunderbolts. That's the last time I remember seeing him, and that was like over like 8 years ago, and it wasn't good. Like
Hobgoblin is one of my favorite Spider-Man villains, but it's not like long-term Hobgoblin. It's not like original Hobgoblin either. It's I think Macendale is the one that was during Inferno.
Okay.
Because he's the one who sells his soul. Well, he gets manipulated because he basically tries to cut a deal for a power upgrade. And he gets the power upgrade, but he gets turned into an actual Hobgoblin. And then, like in the 90s when I was reading, in the early 90s when I first got into books, there was like this thing where between Ghost Rider and Spider-Man, where Ghost Rider takes Hobgoblin from Spider-Man. He's like, he's mine now. This is my villain. Like, you can't have him. He's not a dude. You're not going to throw him in a jail. He needs to be punished and sent somewhere permanently. And I appreciate that differentiation with that Hobgoblin, because the other ones are just a dude in a costume, and just like the Green Goblin's just a dude in a costume, and it's like, cool, you set this one apart.
I also like Hobgoblin. I disagree with you wholly on the demon one. Like, that's a big no thank you for me. I prefer the guy in the suit, and I prefer him the Green Goblin because he's just a guy in a suit. I don't need the fucking insane. I don't need Joker.
I mean, that's what Green Goblin is.
Right. I prefer Hobgoblin because he's another jobber. He just tends to have a little more like attitude. I'll take a guy in a suit, thanks.
Like, original Hobgoblin is like Carnage without a symbiote. He's just a psychopath who likes to hurt people. Like, the artwork got cooler once he was a demon, because then he had the long snake tongue come out of his mouth, and it wasn't just something that could be pulled off and done. He was this ugly, hideous thing.
Didn't like it.
I don't want a guy going home and like going to a penthouse or a warehouse or any house at all and just like eating dinner and just being like, yeah, that's what I do. I go and I put on that crazy costume and
I'm cool.
There's enough of those.
But that's all Spider-Man villains are, so I'm cool with it.
No, all Spider-Man villains are screwed up doctors and scientists.
That's not true.
Sure, Doc Ock, Doc Connors. Well,
Scorpion's a guy in an animal suit. Rhino's a guy in an animal suit.
Rhino can take his suit off, right?
I don't know, but he's still just a guy.
He is just a guy.
Yeah,
I'm just saying because Matt Gargan is a guy who got screwed, who can't take his suit off.
Here's we need to update origin. Stiltman. Make Stiltman like a player.
They did update his origin. He's dead.
Well,
now it's Stilt Woman.
It's Stilt Woman, yeah, but she's still not interesting.
Yeah, that's how they update him. They make him female. Like Electro is now female, right?
Well, they beefed. They were fighting, right?
Who?
Because Electro came back.
Right.
He was resurrected, and he's like, "Francine, you bitch! You taking my whole deal?" And like they were mad at each other, they were fighting.
So is that like a girlfriend, a daughter? What is that?
So she was like a fangirl
of Electro.
Yeah,
really.
And she would like let him crash at her apartment and stuff.
Oh, that's funny.
And when he overloaded and like exploded, and she got hit with all the power, and that's how she turned. It was a Marvel Miss Marvel situation.
Okay.
Right, where like the powers got transferred, kind of thing.
And Beetle is his daughter now, right?
No, Beetle is Tombstone's
daughter. Tombstone's daughter,
yeah.
Not even Beetle's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Yeah, whatever.
What did she kill the Beetle and take his stuff?
I have no idea what the deal is. I guess Beetle needs a new origin.
That's some weird ass DC shit. Like Dula Dent is the Joker's daughter, but it's Harvey Dent's daughter.
Whatever. Do you take on a moniker that's open, right?
Take on a monitor to piss off Daddy.
Sure, why not? He's not going to care. Neither one of them.
They'll flip a coin, decide if they care.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else like who needs an origin. It's such a hard question. Because there has to be tons. It's just like all those characters. You mentioned before villains more so than heroes, because heroes get the limelight, right? Heroes get the rework and more attention. Villains tend to kind of fall by the wayside. So I think if you comb through some villains, you could probably find some interesting stuff to play with.
I like 'cause Batman, whenever they like retouch Batman's origin, because like what happens. It's pretty like cut and dry. But they'll always add like the flavor of someone who was there. Like Leslie Thompson was there.
Half the fucking Gotham was there. It's like, why does everyone have to be there?
At this point, there was a crowd, yeah. But like, I like the fact that like Leslie Thompson became this support and ally for him, someone else that could stitch him up instead of Alfred, or in addition to Alfred. Of course, Gordon's there, like from the first, from the beginning of it all. But I like when they add stuff like like in someone was shit talking Tom King's run the other day.
Okay. I mean, deservedly.
I don't think so.
Reread it again.
I would gladly reread it again. We've
talked about it. There are highlight issues, but there are long swaths of garbage in there.
Right, but there are highlight issues. They were shit talking him because of other shit, because he was a CIA agent and murdered people and whatnot.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah, fuck that.
Okay. Whatever. You could change career. It's fine.
Yeah, right.
Like you don't have to be like a psyop just because you're in CIA.
But they did. The issue, I'm pretty sure it was one of King's issues where they talk about he doesn't believe in God. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why would he?
Yeah, it makes sense.
He's literally friends with people who would be considered gods. You know, Wonder Woman, actual demigod.
Right.
You know, why would he like believe in a higher entity other than his people? Like this is a human being who gets to put these people on a peer level. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like no, I believe I can beat Superman's ass. All I need is a shiny green rock, and I already know how. No one knows how to kick ass better than me.
Right.
I can kick God's ass. No, I don't believe in God.
Well, also having everything ripped away from you as a child,
right,
in front of your eyes,
in front of your face.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, I wouldn't say that Bruce comes from a place of ungratefulness either, because like he has people that care about him.
Yeah, he's got support
and he
system.
knows that.
Sure.
He knows that Alfred cares about him like a son. It's not a misgiven. That, you know, like he might act like
I can only do it alone.
No,
that's
but,
why I have a dozen people behind me.
No, but he may act like he plays the role of the billionaire playboy, and he might not genuinely thank Alfred like a father on the regular. You know, he might be like, go out of my suit. I'm going to go out again. I don't care how many times you don't tell me to go out. I'm going out. That's what I do. You know, like every so often you get the tender moment.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Few and far between.
Yeah. So characters like him, where there's not a lot to do. I like when it happens in drips and drabs slowly. Like, I think you do have to be mindful of how many people you let in the alley when it happens.
Do you know what the current Bizarro origin is?
I don't.
Is it still original?
I'm old. I assume he's always from Bizarro World.
Okay.
I mean, there's two. There is two Bizarros. There's OG Bizarro from Bizarro World, and there's the one that Lex made that's intelligent.
Okay. I was just curious.
And he's dead.
All right. I was just saying, because I think that's one where you could probably, like, throw a new origin on there and really nail it down.
I would like a modern take on it for sure.
I don't like
World is kind of hokey.
Yeah, I don't like Bizarro World, but I also don't like Lex manufacturing him.
Right.
I think there needs to be something else in there.
Yeah, I don't like Lex manufacturing him because I don't like associating like Bizarro and Connor together.
Sure.
You know, and I don't.
Me and brother.
Yeah. I like Connor. I think Connor's a great character who has had like a lot of cool moments over the years. So like to just be like, oh yeah, he's just another cloning attempt of Lex.
Sure.
But maybe a mini series on Bizarro Homeworld.
I don't know if it should be a world or like what the answer is.
I know,
like you said, it's just very hokey.
Just from old Superman comics, like there is other Bizarro.
Yeah, there's a Bizarro planet, and there's Bizarro Lois Lane, and
right.
It's all. Yeah, it's all. That's. I don't want that.
I don't want that.
I don't want that. But I don't want it. The manufactured either. I don't know. I think he has room for some sort of improvement. So. I don't know. I'm trying to roll through in my head, and it's always hard, like being put on the spot. Be like, hey.
Well, I think we've answered it quite well. I just think that like everything.
I never feel confident that we've actually answered a question.
Well, Wrecking Crew, I Want the Hell Dimensions, and the Super Timeline. Like, I think we answered the question. I just think that I think almost any character can get a freshened up, more tidied up, definitive answer on what things are.
Sure.
I mean, look at DC putting out their one shot this week.
Oh yeah,
here's our new history.
Yeah,
like,
the new history.
It's clean.
New history of the DC universe. Which, look, I appreciate them going. Hey, I realize it's messy. Let's codify an actual timeline, and this is it.
Well, I haven't read it yet. I know you tackled a couple of pages.
Yeah, so it was. I read maybe like 3 or 4 pages, and I'm enjoying it. It's basically like, it's like reading. Like the beginning of Lord of the Rings or something like that, where like they're talking about like how the world began and stuff like that. It's very much that where like I've said it before and I will continue to say it. DC is such a blind spot, especially old DC in my knowledge base, that having something like this come out, I think is a wonderful tool. Because it's literally starting from the universe started, but they're rolling people like Perpetua into it.
Right.
Like okay, she was there the whole time, and there was the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and the World Forger, and like you're literally going from the universe forward.
As long as we don't like erase things, because I've never been a fan of the term reboot. Like I understand reboot, but I don't like reboot. You've heard me say it 1,000 times. As long as there's an event that hinges the old timeline to the new timeline, it's the same timeline. It's just altered.
Yeah.
You know, so like,
and that's what it's acknowledging.
Yeah.
Like I read you one little box where it's Barry Allen who's researching and putting together the history of the universe.
Yeah, but there better be a point where he goes, and this is where I died.
I'm sure he will.
And
But
this is where I came back.
But he makes the point that there's been enough crisis events and big things that were like, he says the universe feels malleable,
Right.
as if it was written by multiple narrators kind of thing, where it's like, okay, we get it, it's a comic book. But like, as far as I haven't got to any actual like characters that matter. Like I got to the origin of the Owens and the Green Lantern Corps.
Okay.
That's as far as I got in the DC the DC history. But from what I read, it reads smooth. It is a history lesson, so it's not necessarily the most interesting action-packed thing.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll like it.
We just rolled right into the books. But thanks for the question, Matt. That was a good one. I'm going to keep thinking about that one as time goes on, just to see if I can come up with something better.
I mean, it's basically what we do anyway. You know, you constantly think about like what you would write and what you would do.
Right.
You know, it's
Yes.
your theory on what happens. You know, like I always say, if I got my chance to write the Batman story, there'd be a Lazarus pit at the bottom of the cave.
I wouldn't like your Batman story.
No, of course not. But it's my Batman
Sure,
story, you know?
yes.
Like he'd be,
Yeah.
but that would justify him getting darker and darker over the years, getting more violent over the
If
years.
that's the case, why wouldn't he drag his fucking parents in there and throw them in?
Because he didn't know it was there yet. He had to fall down the hole and get traumatized by bats.
Fair enough.
You know? Maybe he didn't find it till after he came back from training. He made the resolve to be Batman and then found this thing and went, the first time he got his ass licked real hard and he was just like,
He's got his ass licked real hard.
yeah.
Choice of words, man. Come on. Whoa.
Took a licking. And then went for a dip.
What was that villain?
It was a Joker. Come on, we've already covered the fact that he's in love with him. Took an ass licking. Come on, chicken.
Alfred, I found this clown and he just kept trying to lick my asshole.
Thank God. I thought you were going to go, Alfred. Come lick my asshole.
No, that's fucked up. That's his dad. You sicko.
Just daddy.
So while I have not finished reading it, I think New History of the DC Universe is worth reading. I mean, Mark Waid is writing it, so you got that going for
That's a
it.
step in the right direction.
Yeah. I read a couple other things this week. There's not a whole lot of new stuff this week.
Go out last week.
I want to cover this week first just to get it out of the way because there's not a lot.
backwards.
Yeah,
Time
go back.
travel.
I mean, we started with news, so
That's
that's
fine.
fine. I read News from the Fallout, #1, by Chris Condon and Jeffrey Allen Love. It's nuclear zombies, and it's a no thank you for me. I didn't care. It's not doing anything new. I don't really like the art, other than a few panels in the beginning. It's got the art has very Ben Templesmith vibes to it. If Templesmith worked in pastel or charcoal.
Okay.
It's a little rougher.
Right.
But it's all black and white. It's all that kind of vibe. Characters are slightly cleaner. They're not as stretched out and weird. But yeah, it's just zombies. Don't care.
Yeah, I just read a post-apocalyptic something in grayscale, which made me go, no thanks.
That was much better though. Yeah, so News from the Fallout is a pass for me. And then I have never read anything Power Rangers ever.
Okay.
And I read VR Troopers.
Is VR Troopers Power Rangers? I thought
Yes.
that was a completely different property.
Nope, Power Rangers.
What?
Yeah.
You're blowing my mind here.
Uh-huh.
I had no idea that VR Troopers were Power Rangers.
Yep, I didn't know that either until I picked it up and read it.
That's crazy.
I
thought there were two whole separate
Yeah,
things.
same thing. But when it's I saw the sign Angel Grove, I'm like, it's about fucking Power Rangers.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not upset that I don't know shit about Power Rangers.
Yeah, look,
It's not
like
my,
I said,
it's not my thing.
I've
yeah.
never read anything Power Rangers before, and I think I'm going to keep that streak going because I didn't really vibe with this at all. There's weird, multi-dimensional stuff going on, and clearly the bad guy is either the main character's dad or a multi-dimensional version of himself.
Okay.
That's it. Spoilers. I'm calling it. It's not a spoiler. They didn't put it in the book. I'm calling that.
Well, I hope you're wrong, because that's not very different.
That's not very different. But yeah, didn't care for that either. That said, I read Huck, Big Bad World #2. Still good. Yeah, it's Mark Millar, Raphael Albuquerque. He helps a mob hitman escape service from the mob.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's another powered person, and his daughter's being held hostage by his uncle, and his uncle's making him do hits on people. And Huck finds him and goes, I'm gonna get you and bring you to the police because you're a bad guy. And he goes, whoa, 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 whoa. But this is happening. And he goes, I'm gonna help you now. And that's it. So, pretty simple. Feel-good story, again. Except Huck doesn't get dumped, so it's not sad. That's all I got for this week.
There's not a whole lot of number ones. It's a fantastic week for books. You know,
Indies are knocking it out of the park this week.
I read like 9 indies already. Like, it's crazy. We're taking them all down with us, steamrolling. You know, number 4, awesome. You'll Do Bad Things, also number 4, still awesome. You know, Feral hit 14. It's killer. Seasons number 5. Void Rivals 20. There's so much good. Like on the shelves right now. Like, this week is insane.
When indies are more interesting than the big 2 table, it just feels weird.
Yeah, and this is definitely one of those weeks. It's been for a while.
I mean, it's the last week of the month too. Like, usually there's a little.
Last week of the month is usually really light. But
yeah, they're light,
heavy,
but like specifically for the big 2, like DC and Marvel kind of tone it down as the month goes on, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you get your little sprinkle of leavings at the end, and the indies came through, and specifically Image.
Number 1, I've read Tramps of the Apocalypse.
Okay.
Which is not something I strongly recommend unless you like underground indie books. It was one of those kind of, you know, those kind of vein kind of books. Like, you know, if it were back in the 80s, it would have been in one of those collected underground comic
So is it like
novels.
Is it lovable homeless person or sexy lady?
It is a band of 3 sexy ladies just kicking ass, making their way through a desert, and they come across like this weird guy cult who are like misogynistic women haters that they're clearly going to kill all of them and stuff. And it's, you know, and there's like a gay couple of us, you know, like a sexy boy Hitler and a Klansman and shit.
Wait. One more time?
Yeah, like you know,
a sexy boy Wait. A sexy boy Hitler or a sexy boy Hitler?
Yeah, he looks young.
Okay.
But he's like wearing like the shorts, not like a normal uniform. He's kind of almost like scout uniformish.
Okay.
More like summer camp Hitler. And the Klans guy is like this big buff dude with no shirt on. He's just wearing the hood. Like, yeah, you know.
His head burns easily. He has to wear it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's fun. It's fun. If you like seeing cool chicks beat the shit out of a bunch of weird dudes, then yeah, I guess, you know.
Okay.
But you know, it's in gray tones and stuff. It really does have like that underground kind of comic vibe to it.
Okay.
You know. And Sleep number 2 came out this week. I still don't know what's going on in that book, except for I think that the main character thinks he's a werewolf.
Well, that'd be fun.
There's just a lot of mystery in the whole book. People are dying and going missing, and he can't find his cat. And he thinks he ate his cat, and you know, only issue 2. So like he attacks a cop to make the cop lock him up overnight.
Oh, so if he transforms, he'll be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is another one. Like the artwork's like simplistic and cartoony, and it's kind of got like that underground comic vibe. It wouldn't be at like the top of my recommendation lists, either one of them. But
okay, look,
you got me now. Because now I'm 2 issues in, and I was like, now you got to know what happens.
Sure.
And then Neverwars, which is weird because there's 3 number 1s this week with Neverwars. There's a Peter Pan issue, an Alice in Wonderland issue that's not about Alice in Wonderland. It's this kid Georgie who is taking the role of Alice, and a Wizard of Oz one. Okay. And they all take place in like World War I, like France and Germany and shit. And in all 3 of the titles, because they connect, the main characters get sucked up by a tornado and dumped off in a fairy tale land.
Do they have tornadoes in Europe? This is my American-centric brain just kind of butting in.
Why wouldn't they have tornadoes everywhere?
Right, exactly.
Have hurricanes there.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, you would but like...
Can they have a tropical storm with no tropics?
Tropical storms come up from the tropics, which for them would be, you know, Africa.
But that's a long trek across the ocean.
Yeah, like, I figure, like, tornadoes would happen, like, maybe in northern Africa, maybe Middle East, but I never thought that... I guess... They would. I've never heard of it. You know, you think tornado, you just think Midwest, right?
Yeah.
But again, I think that's just a American experience, like only here. I've never heard of a French tornado.
I am the tornado. But yeah,
French tornado sounds like a sex thing.
It sounds like a supervillain. Hangs out with Grey Gargoyle. The French tornado will blow you. Ooh, hey. But yeah, the Neverwars thing. The Peter Pan kid is dropping bombs out of like World War I biplanes and shit like that, and the tornado hits and he gets blown off to Neverland.
Okay.
And he wakes up on with Captain Hook pointing a sword at him.
Okay.
And I don't like. It's very weird because it gives the vibe that they've been in these places before and like forgot who they were. The Alice in Wonderland thing, or the Wonderland thing, because there's no Alice. George, he's trying to enlist, and they're grilling him like right away because like he's got a stuffed bunny in his pocket, and they're like, "How old are you?" And he's like, "I'm 18," and they're like, "Yeah, try again." And he's like 14, and they're like, "Why are you trying to like enlist?" And he's like, "I don't want people to die. I'm trying to stop the bombs." And they're like, "What?" You're like, "What do you mean? Like, we're gonna go kill people?" And he's like, "No, I don't want anyone to die." And they're like, "You're trying to make my men soft," like. So they make him a tunneler.
Okay.
And,
so instant death.
Yeah, right. And the Nazis like tunnel through from the opposite end, and
Not Nazis.
Whatever they are, I think they called them Nazis.
If it's World War I, it's not Nazis.
They very much look like Nazis.
Do they have the pointy helmets?
Yes.
Those aren't Nazis.
No, what are they?
They
I showed you the flying monkeys. They look like Nazi monkeys.
Yeah, but Nazi monkeys are different. See, Nazis didn't exist until the late 20s. Or the mid-20s, whenever the Nazi party started. But like
whatever they evolved to. Whatever they evolved from.
This is German, whatever. I can't think of the name of what they are.
Germans.
Yeah, the Germans.
Germans.
Yeah.
But the Germans come in through the opposite end of the tunnel, and they have to escape, and they drop dynamite on them. But like Georgie has to stop and save the canary because they have the canary. Like it's a mine. They have a canary down there. So he's a little soft kid.
Okay.
And his stuffed rabbit winds up turning into the white rabbit.
Oh, okay. So he's late.
Yeah, he's talking about being in a hurry and being far behind and shit. And then the third one, Dorothy is a nurse, and she's working on wounded soldiers and stuff like that. And there's like a catatonic soldier who's basically like the Scarecrow. His last name's Crow.
Okay.
And they, were blown away in a tornado, and they wake up in Wonderland, and and all of a sudden he can talk, and he is the Scarecrow, and he's, and he's like, "Oh, why'd you have to bring us back here?" And it's like, "Oh, they've been there before." Like they are acknowledging. And she was like, "Anywhere is better than where we were." And he's like, "I don't know about that." And then it pans out to like the Nazi monkeys.
German monkeys.
But the big banners with symbols that like are supposed to be swastika-esque.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. That was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, because it's some like tiny little publisher, right?
Yeah, and I was just like, these are going to suck. They were great.
That's cool. That's cool. They got something going on. Yeah, especially interconnected. My one critique off the rip would be the no differentiation between what the number ones are, because it just says Neverwars across all of them.
They are not selling their product properly.
Outside of characters on the covers, there's no other.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't know. You would just think they're variant covers,
right? Right.
As opposed to like these are three different. Yeah, we thought they were all one book, and that's a huge mistake. To not tell people that these are three different stories about three different characters that all tie together, because you're going to want that come together moment when they all eventually do that. So yeah, that was a very weird choice not to like subtitle it or differentiate them on the cover in any way.
Yeah, even it was like. Neverwars Georgie, Neverwars Dorothy, like shit like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's a very weird choice.
Cool. It's cool that something that small could get you excited.
Yeah. They all start with the same line too. It's fall in line, you no good, worthless goops.
Goops.
Hey, you're trying to think of a derogatory term and not be vulgar. Goops works.
Goops works just fine.
Yeah.
It's just a really weird one. That's it for me this week.
Yeah, that's it for me this week. I mean, like I said, I ran off the list of things that were, higher than number twos because there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
It's a huge week.
Yeah, I don't want to keep retreading the rain
right,
ran
exactly.
over and over again.
It's a huge week of really good stuff. Just not a lot new.
Yeah. Like Ultimate Spider-Man's out this week. That's always a good read.
Always.
100%. You just can't read.
Yeah, a lot of my favorites on the table this week.
Now, last week, bunch of new good stuff. Definitely recommend. We had mentioned Krypto, The Last Dark Krypton.
Yeah, we mentioned that one.
Number
That one was good.
That was Ryan North and Mike Norton. It was cute. It was a quick read. I liked the thing they did where there's all this dialogue happening. So Clark's parents are talking, and you get all the dialogue because Krypto's there, but it's all kind of like grayed out. But anytime they say Krypto, it bolds out to full black lettering whenever like he's paying attention to something being said. I think it's a nice little
because there's a story there for you, and not him.
Right.
And then there's what applies to him, which is very little.
And they're using him as like a test.
Yeah,
For the ships for the rockets to escape Krypton, and he ends up accidentally going through a wormhole and ending up on Earth,
and meeting Lex,
which is the one thing I didn't like about it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Constant connection.
It doesn't all have to connect.
Does not need to happen.
Yeah, I hate you because you stole my dog. You made me lose my hair, and you stole my dog. He was my dog first. I'm too young to remember.
We had brought up before the fact that like, how old is Krypto?
Right.
Like if he's there waiting for Clark the whole time, Clark has to grow up, right?
Right. What's the timeline?
I'm assuming that he ends up going back, and that's how they find out about Earth, right? Where to send Clark. But even so, Krypto's a fully grown dog. So even if he's 2 years old, right? That means he is still alive currently. So even if he comes to Earth with Clark again, right? He goes back to Krypton. He comes to Earth with Clark. Clark has to grow up. Clark's what? 30 something?
Sure.
Let's say Clark's 32.
That's the age I like to put Bruce at, so sure.
That means Krypto's like 32, 33 years old. Dogs don't live that long. Like, I want to know how long Kryptonian dogs live for.
He's a Kryptonian dog. I mean, clearly.
I know, yeah, I guess, because, like, Superman doesn't age, right? Like, he lives a long, long time, so I guess the same thing would apply to him.
Right.
Yeah, all right. I my brain worked it out. I got through it.
It's funny that they look at like they explore the possibility of like the romance between Batman and Wonder Woman, and Batman cannot handle the fact that Diana will be young and beautiful forever, and he will be old. I remember the old Justice League issues where they did that. Like this mushroom cloud goes off in the distance, and Diana gets up to go, see what happens, but she turns around and looks at Bruce, and Bruce is like old and gray and in a wheelchair, and he's like gripping the arms of the wheelchair in frustration, and he points at her. He's like, "Go!" and he tells her to go, do what she has to do, and she takes off and goes, and there it is. They're in some like, I think some dream machine that Martian Manhunter's like helping read their dreams, and Martian Manhunter's like, "Well, there you go. That's why you can't be in a relationship. You're a dick." Like you can't deal with that. You can't. That's what's blocking you. Is you cannot. And it's like, well, that's what's going to happen with Lois and Clark.
Well, Lois is going to get old and die.
Right.
Sure.
But it's a dark outcome that I don't think they cover. And I'm not really well versed in Superman. Like I'm amazed I know as much as I do know about Superman. But as far as I know, is that they've never really taken the time to address that.
The age, I get, but like that requires you jumping into like a story in the future, and that's always suck.
Yeah, but
future stories always suck.
But like they could have like addressed it back when they got married. Like
so death do you part, Lois.
Right. Clark, so I'll tell you part.
Yeah, I'm gonna live forever.
But like that kind of stuff. Or to have like just a villain pointed out, like, oh, you're gonna watch her die, like manipulate him and
emotionally,
just
sure.
As far as I know, they don't bring it up very often.
Yeah, I don't read Superman, so I can't say.
And like she can die, I'll still have my dog
and my son.
Yeah, and yeah.
I wonder, like as time goes on, because there's this trope, and specifically, like what comes to mind is Dragon Ball Z. I don't know if you have like a ton of experience with that.
No, just that it's extremely racist.
It's not extremely racist.
It's extremely racist.
Let's put that to the side. You have a thing where Goku is half Saiyan. Oh, no. Is he full Saiyan? No, okay, so he's full Saiyan. Vegeta's full Saiyan, and they're very powerful. But then Goku's son is half Saiyan, but he's like crazy powerful. Same thing with Vegeta's son, Trunks. That thing where like, it's the same thing with Invincible. Mark being half
human,
Viltrumite,
half Ultramite.
like somehow makes them stronger.
Better, right? Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's it happens with Saiyans and Viltrumites. Like I'm curious to see what happens with Jonathan. Is being half Kryptonian going to be a benefit or a detriment to him? Is he going to ever be as strong as his father, or is he going to be stronger? Is he always going to be less than because he's half human, or will he surpass him? I'm curious if they're going to fall into that trope.
Yeah.
Because right now he's still young enough where he's still growing and learning and stuff, so we haven't really touched on that.
I don't even know how old he is now because they've aged him up a bit.
He's got to be in his
teens?
Yeah, he's like late teens, maybe he's like 17, 18.
Yeah, worst thing they ever did to that character.
Yes, agreed. I would still like to see that. I would like to see them go like toe to toe, honestly.
Jonathan and Superman?
Yeah, like have something happen where like there's a split and they just duke it out.
I don't think I'd want to see that.
I'm just curious.
I know, but like
it could be in Elseworlds. It doesn't have to be like real.
Jonathan.
I just want to know what would happen in a fight between them.
Jonathan would have to be at fault, or be the one that misunderstands, or whatever, because Superman can't be wrong.
Well, okay, so if there's that, yeah,
he's the goodest of the good guys. So,
right, yeah. But if you frame it, because like Superman wouldn't even try to fight him.
Right. Yes.
Superman wouldn't throw a punch at his own son, so
right,
Superman would have to be the one being controlled or something like that, right? So Jonathan would have to be fighting his dad. Jonathan would have to be the one in the right, because Superman wouldn't ever try to hit his son.
But that's what it would have to be, mind control or some kind of shit.
Right,
like
but
that,
still, I'm just talking about the physicality of it, not the whether who would be right or wrong. I just want to see like what would happen.
I don't know, pure speculation. But if Superman's being mind controlled and he's like unhinged, unrelentless, that's a dead Jonathan.
Yeah, well.
Like if he's hooking off on Darkseid, no holding back. Woof, woof.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Kill your kid.
All the Superman talk. I did read Superman Limited #2 by Dan Slott and Raphael Albuquerque. It got fucking weird.
Well, that's the one where Kryptonite's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like he gets shot by a Kryptonite bullet, and he's like, "Huh, ow," and he's on the ground just like ah, and then he does his little like explosion thing, and he turns gold, and he heals himself from the kryptonite poisoning.
Turns gold.
He literally turns gold.
Ooh, I hate that.
Yeah. And Bruce is talking to him like, "Hey, you can't do this all the time because it's eating up your solar reserves.
Oh.
So you will be left powerless if you keep doing this."
Well, at least it's not without
right. There's consequence
drawback.
to it.
Yeah,
and they actually connect it to his solar burst thing. Remember he exploded?
Yeah, when he developed his new power.
Right. They're
like
saying that
back.
it might be connected to that in some way or related. Like it might be the same thing. But basically, he could burn the kryptonite poisoning out of his body.
That would be a nice way to get rid of that power. Like eventually, the wells run dry and you can't do it anymore. Like,
but basically, he's like, "Hey, every time you do that, like." You're getting weaker.
Because no one was a big fan of that to begin with.
No, it's stupid, and this power is also stupid. But they do some really stupid punny stuff. Like there's guards on the island. I forget the island's name, but they call it the Emerald City now because it's all kryptonite. But they all have high tech guards in like these suits of armors with like pikes and stuff, and they call them the Kryptonites.
Oh no!
With a K.
Oh no!
The Kryptonites. And their currency, all their currency has Superman on the dollars, and crypto.
It's cryptocurrency.
Crypto coins.
Crypto coins.
Because the coins have crypto on them. Because they're honoring Superman for saving them and dropping the gold mine right at their doorstep. I did really weird stuff.
Do they have a comet of a different color?
So,
Comet's the super horse.
Yeah.
And if you remember in Wizard of Oz, there's a horse of a different color.
Kept on changing.
Yeah.
I'm going to read the next issue to see what the fuck happens.
I want you to keep reading it because I'm not going to.
I don't blame you. But at the end, the president of that that country gives a bunch of kryptonite to a new toy man saying, "Hey, make some stuff."
Crazy.
Yeah.
I've read Godzilla vs. Avengers last week.
Mm-hmm. You've been enjoying all those Godzilla. You've been reading all those
Godzilla
crossovers.
I couldn't finish this one.
That bad?
Yeah. S.H.I.E.L.D. agents reprimanding the Avengers like they're school kids just did not sit well with me. Mm-hmm. And it's new Avengers like lineup. So Luke Cage, Wolverine, Spider-Man are there, and I'm like, why don't you tell Maria Hill to go screw off and just?
Because those are the nice guys.
But like even Cap and Wolverine should be like, dude, we're like 100 years old. Like, shut the fuck up. And it's like, how do you even reprimand me for losing control of a Godzilla?
Right.
When did you think I was in control of a Godzilla?
Yeah.
Because
you're just out there. I'm a guy with a shield.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do to Godzilla?
Because they're like, oh, like, you let him take out that bridge. It's like, we didn't let him do shit. And I got halfway through. I was like, I don't even care how this resolves, because it should resolve with them punching her in the face.
Does Maria Hill just go yell at Godzilla and then he goes away?
Yeah, right. That would. Hey, you get out of here!
You take the helicarrier real low, and then she stands on the end and yells at him. And he goes, "Oh!"
Oh, just like Avengers,
just back into the water,
just like Godzilla, Spider-Man. Where Godzilla gets a symbiote. It ends with Godzilla in a SHIELD agent uniform.
Godzilla agent
now
of
he
SHIELD
works for them.
Very cool. Yeah, I like it.
Emma Frost, #1.
How was that? I'm curious.
I liked it.
I tend not to like the throwback things.
I tend to not like the throwback things too. I did not read the Wolverine Kitty Pryde.
Nope, not doing it.
And I don't know what other ones. There was like a Sabretooth one
that wrapped up not too long ago.
Right. I haven't been. I don't need any throwbacks.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you.
Yep, agreed.
This one, however, was pretty cool. It was inner workings of the Hellfire Club and how many chapters there are, other people involved, and the team shows up because they're looking for a mutant that they have captured there. And
where does this take place in the timeline, by the way?
Where does it take place in the timeline?
So the team shows up. It has to be after like first appearance, right?
It's after first appearances. They've already had their Phoenix Saga run-in.
It's like, we were in cages in our underwear already.
Yes, they were in cages in their underwear already. Yes, that happened.
Fucking covers.
It's like, I need to get out of here, I think.
It's like,
maybe I want to stay.
I'm
not quite sure.
It's a good thing we're not still children, because we're in a fuck dungeon. 4 years ago, we were children.
Yeah. But I liked it.
Okay, cool.
For a throwback, And then again, like the rest of last week was all like good #2s or continuing good stories. Like Bug Wars 5 came out, awesome.
Yep, good.
Gwenpool 2 came out, and
was surprisingly good.
Hate that I like it.
Right?
I hate that I like it. Fuck that book and fuck that character. God, I hope she dies again.
So, the #1, I was like, all right, like this was fun, and then it got like too jokey too quickly. Mm-hmm. This one toned that back a lot,
a whole lot.
But it was still in there.
Yeah, but it confirms that it's 616 Gwen, and fuck that noise.
But I want to see how and why.
Well, I think how is Weapon X, because she keeps...
Yeah, she says yes, it's Weapon X, but why would Weapon X go grab the dead daughter of a dead police captain? Yeah,
right? What the
hell?
From
like however many years ago it is in continuity.
The only motivation that you could possibly think of is they know there's a connection between Spider-Man and her. And it's specifically to fuck with Spider-Man.
Well, and they're playing it up hard too,
right?
Because Spider-Man gets fucked up.
But she's being such a fucking bitch.
And they do this fucked up bait and switch where the draw to the book is like, it's the Gwenpool book,
right?
The fun one,
the first one,
right? And they kill her in the second issue, and it is clearly just the new Gwenpool's book.
Yeah, which is clever.
Sure,
like it's a nice bait and switch.
It's written well enough where it's like, okay, cool.
Gwenpool,
but you come there, she's not gonna be dead.
I know, but as it is, that character shouldn't exist. Like, we don't need a Superboy Prime in Marvel, and we don't need more derivative things of stupid fourth wall breaking characters like Deadpool.
There's a place for it.
There's a place for it, but there's too much of it.
Deadpool's toned down significantly.
Yeah, except for the fact that he's got a daughter now, and a symbiote dog daughter.
That's not the same problem we're talking about.
And Itsy Bitsy is also in the universe now.
We're not talking about the same problem.
We're talking about garbage books with silly, stupid
There will be garbage
themes.
Always. I'm talking about the fourth wall break character. She-Hulk, almost non-existent now. Like, she's the only one kind of fulfilling that niche.
And it's her gimmick.
I know. I'm just saying, Gwenpool's the only one doing it as hard as she is.
Give it back to Green Jeans.
She's up in space.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see how she manages law over Scar. Like, I can't wait for, like, Imperial is so good.
Yeah, so Gwenpool 2 was pretty solid.
No, Gwenpool Tool. You got that right. She's an absolute tool.
Bring on the Bad Guys. Doom #1.
Didn't read it. Not sure I want to.
Much better than I thought it was going to be.
No.
So it's by Mark Guggenheim and Stefano Raffaele, I think. Is that how you say it? I'm sorry. For me, going into it, I thought it was just a blatant cash grab to go, we're running a Doom event, people are interested in villains right now, let's run a villain event, and people will just buy it because. It was actually written pretty solid. And it's all background set up for stuff. Mephisto helped create a magic item that's just a MacGuffin, with a bunch of other sorcerers, like, forever ago. He betrayed them all, and he wants it, but when he betrayed them, it fucked up the item. Now he has to go collect these soul daggers to make it work. And if he gets it working, he can rewrite reality with it.
Okay.
And Doom's like, nuh-uh. And that's the book.
So each villain is going to be, like, trying to prevent Mephisto from getting this thing?
No, because in the first issue, Abomination gets hired to find one of the daggers, and he hands it off to, like, Sister Sorrow is basically working for Mephisto collecting these things.
Okay.
So Abomination just gives her one of the daggers.
But there is some connectivity somehow.
I don't know the extent of it.
Okay.
But it's essentially going to be Dr. Doom going, well, you can't have that. That's it. I'm making it. I'm being. I'm making it sound not great. It was a decent read. I'm going to check the other ones out and see. For something I thought was just going to be trash, it was all right.
I'll live vicariously through you on this one.
Yeah, it's fine.
Exquisite Corpses 2?
I didn't get to read it.
Oh, no?
No.
Oh,
because I went away for the weekend, and I thought I was going to have more time to read, and it never works out.
The bodies keep stacking up, and that's
Good.
all I'll say about that.
Cool.
Like,
Good.
fantastic.
Like, it's literally the next thing on my pile to read.
It's good. It's so good. But I don't think you really need to be told that. Read issue 1, it was fantastic.
Battle Beast 2, still amazing.
Yeah.
Full of Star Trek references.
I feel like Battle Beast is going to be that book that I want people to read and I want to tell people to read, but I can't. Because unless you know the character, like, that's all you like it delivers. It delivers on who he is. If you know who he is,
Right,
it is fantastic.
Right, the expectations are there, but, like, I think it does a really good job on its own of going, like, this is what the character is.
Yeah. I think anyone could pick it up and have fun with it, but I think trying to, like, pitch it
Yeah.
is like, it's this rage monster who's just done suicide. That doesn't sound interesting at all.
Right.
Like, it does, yeah.
Do you want fun gore?
Yeah,
That's
just,
what it, yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. I get what you're saying, yeah.
I feel like it's hard to talk it up, and it is fantastic and exactly what it needed to be.
But that audience is much broader than it used to be, where people go, Battle Beast, what? Now, because of the show, people actually know who the fuck he is, so I think the expectation is laid a little better for us to be like, hey, you like that show, right? Read this.
I got to catch up on the show.
Me too. Me too.
I watched all of the first season.
I got halfway through the second season, so I got to watch the second half, the second and the third.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it delivers on the gore.
It does.
Does it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. then that's great. Like, because then there's a basis for comparison. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, he's a savage beast warrior in that universe, and, like, if you've seen the gore there, that's
Right.
more.
Yeah, that's fair.
Even more, because they're not even dealing with people. They're dealing with aliens. You just destroy...
Just eating people.
Yeah, just eating people, yeah.
But yeah, I highly recommend that.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Absolutely.
You never touched Invincible, just fucking read it. It's good. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
Oh, awesome. Anything else you want to touch on before we skedaddle?
No, just I would say as just in general, as far as worrying about where to jump in or pick up or whatever, there's so much good indie stuff. So at this point I wouldn't even care what number it is. Just pick something up. Like, if it looks good, just pick it up because it's probably fantastic.
In general, that's why if you're talking about capes, I say that to people. It's like, this is not fucking literature. Like, if you have a general idea of who a character is,
yeah,
you pick up a book, it's going to start making sense within 3 issues. You're going to be okay.
Right.
Indie, not so much, because indie is a little more linear as far as the storytelling. You don't have the same tropes to lean back on.
The best of the indie right now right? We're taking them all down with us. Bug Wars, Exquisite Corpses, Battle Beast. I feel like those are those books. Like, you can just pick it up anywhere. You're going to catch the gist of what's going on. They are. Yeah, they're not super high concept. You're not going to be lost. You're going to figure it out.
You're going to figure it out.
You're going to want to get the stuff prior.
Yeah. But I think it's worth the context of the early issues.
Absolutely.
Could you skate by? Absolutely, you could.
Yeah.
But indies, I'm a little tighter on like, hey, you should read the whole thing.
And I do think that you should read the whole thing. I just think that if you're like hungry for something new, just give it a shot. And then if like you love it, then wait for the trade and pick up issues.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing about indies, because you never know what's going to hit, what's going to not.
Right.
So number ones are always in short supply.
That's my thing though. Like at this point, when you look at something like Feral at issue 14, it's like, all right, if you can't get your hands on a trade, try an issue.
Sure.
Try an issue.
Yeah.
If you like it that much, then you can go...
Right. That I would say yes, just because it's a longer running thing anyway. But you have a lot of these things where it's like, a lot of them are like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 issue minis, like,
Yeah, and that's a problem, because, like, I want most of these to be ongoing.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
That said, like, I'm cool with the advent of kind of like, I'm going to tell my story in the time it takes to tell the story. Fuck you.
Sure.
If it's 10 issues, cool. If it's 9 issues, fine. We don't have to conform to the 4, 6, 12 kind of box.
And as good as it doesn't feel, I don't mind if these things hit a certain level of maybe not predicted success and have the opportunity to go ongoing.
Sure.
And then do things like Saga does, where it's like, all right, we're going to disappear for 3 years because like we have to do other shit.
3 years is a little much. I'm going to disagree with you there. That's too many things. But you want to go away for 6 months. Fine.
Well, Saga has gone away for like 3 years.
Yeah, that's why I say, fuck that. I don't want to ever do that again.
Because it's that good.
Yes.
Right. Look how hungry you are for it. So, if Bug Wars gave us 12 and then was like, all right, we don't have anything else ready, but it'll be back.
I'm even cool with consecutive minis, though.
Yeah, like Fight Club.
Fight Club. But like the BPRD Hellboy kind of like formula, where like we're gonna do a 6 issue, then we're gonna do a 6 issue, and they're all gonna have their own little thing. Like, I'm cool with that too. We're getting that with what's the fucking teddy bear serial killer? Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. That's getting a second volume.
Okay.
Perfect. Great.
Yeah.
You could do that. Like, take a 6 months, 8 months to a year, work on another one, and you just do that. So this way we don't have the expectations.
Weren't we supposed to get another Animal Castle?
I don't know. That went like 2 or 3 volumes, didn't it?
I thought
Or it went a while.
I thought a second volume started, but I didn't think it finished.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Anyway. Yeah, definitely tons of good shit out there. And if you're not reading any indies, you should, because the sky's the limit. You don't have the limitations you get with superhero comics most of the time. Like, anything can happen, and there's so much good quality.
Yeah, and they lose steam.
What?
Like the superhero books.
Yeah. Like, you get jaded over time. We know the formulas and the tells, so you kind of can tell what's going to happen with a lot of the time.
Yeah, Spider-Man is better than it's been in a really, really long time. But I'm not thrilled.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, it was a solid first arc. Let's see where we go now.
I liked the death of Spider-Man more than I like what's going on now.
It was more fun.
Yeah, it was more fun. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, this is just a kind of like resetting the table kind of thing. But it did it in a fun way. Like, I was cool with it.
But I've like reset the table so many times with Spider-Man that like I don't want to have dinner at his house anymore.
Sure.
And I love Spidey. Like, I love when it's good. When it's great, it is fantastic.
Right, but
when it's middling, it's terrible. It's just like, dude, you're.
But that's what
so
we're
much
talking
better
about.
than
You
this.
get stuck into the thing, and you know what's coming. You know what's going to happen. You can tell, even if you don't know the details. You know the vibe that's going to happen. Indies, anything can happen. So, next week we're going to be reviewing the Saga of Swamp Thing Part 1. Well, Part 1 because it's going to end up being a long guy, so it's going to be a 2-parter because there's a lot to go over. Alan Moore. We haven't read anything Alan Moore since Killing Joke, and I know you're a big fan.
Yeah.
He's not a big fan. He hates Alan Moore.
That being said, I like Swamp Thing. Not that first issue, though.
Uh-huh.
That first issue, though, was horrendous.
Yeah, well, don't give everything away. We got to let everyone get there.
Oh, I'm not going to go into detail. It was just bad.
Yeah, it was bad. So, read some of that, because it was better than I thought it was never going to be. I never read anything Swamp Thing before that, other than like him being and stuff, and it was surprising.
That being said, I don't ever feel like I need to read more small print.
Yeah, I don't think I need to either. But thank you for listening. If you would like to get in contact with us, give us some discussion topics like Matt did, or give us suggestions for future book reviews, you could do that at thecomiccryptcast. And you can follow the store on Instagram and Facebook. Links are going to be in the show notes.
Go read an indie book.
Yeah, go read an indie book. Yeah, absolutely.
We loading up the hearse, throw it in reverse. I come from the church of the Marvel Universe. Bodies getting stuffed in the bags like comics. The hardcore get it while the soft bitches vomit. I came to this earth on a radiated comet. Now the planet is in perilous danger because I'm on it. Fly super villain with the superpowers in me. Got the red issues and all my shit is minty. Body like Ben Grimm, suckers I be beating down. Look around and we be found chilling out in Eatontown. I be at the comic crypt stacking up the kryptonite. Doomsday and Superman every time I grip the mic. Dark Phoenix overloading, supernova, sunspot exploding. I'm the Punisher reloading Bobby Drake when he's frozen. Storm forming ominous clouds over the ocean. Working with Professor X to master my emotion. Have you posing in the box whether you know it or not. I'll easily bag your bitch like Logan did to Scott. Mr. Sinister plots when I administer shots to clone gene from a genes. Then this shit'll get hot like Inferno. Burn slow, humans are ash. God loves man kills in the days of future past. Now I'm working on a science lesson. Me and Brian Stratton, a rat in a cage who can't stop buying X-Men.
Like a flower that blooms in the spring.